What's up and happy mental push-up Monday, baby. We here. If this is your first time joining, my name is Andrea Fitzgerald. I'm an author, a speaker, an educator, and also a person really obsessed with personal growth and development. So each week we get in the gym and we do our mental push-ups because the most challenging and rewarding work that we will ever do is on ourselves. So today, friends, we are going to talk about this is just the way I am. And this was inspired by a video I saw by Amanda Seals. And even in my own personal experience, when I got in my relationship, I thought that the only way for it to work was that you just have to accept people as they are. You gotta accept me even the way I am, even if it's toxic and it's messed up. And that's actually not the truth. I want you to check out this video, but please excuse the language. You know, Amanda Seals keeps it 1,100%. You know, she keeps it real. So she does have some language in there. So just want to put that as a disclaimer. There'll be some language there. But just pay attention to the message of what she's trying to say.
Will I ever find love?
How honest with yourself are you?
What do you mean honest with yourself? What are you talking about? Regarding what?
Regarding
Like, what you trying to say?
I'm trying to say, how honest with yourself are you about your own toxicity?
You think you better than me, Amanda?
I think
You are. Trick question. No, I do know. I know my.
Cause let me tell you that this love shit is a very humbling experience. First of all, a lot of us have never experienced real love. Okay. So we don't even know how to recognize it when it's happening. And then a lot of us really, truly are not honest with ourselves. We identify these flaws about ourselves and we accept these flaws. Well, guess what? Good for fucking you that you accepted the flaws. Are you going to do anything about them? I'm going to tell you an epiphany I had the other day into thinking that it's healthy that I get to be all parts of myself in this relationship and the person stays with me. But really, that's some fucked up thinking because your toxicity ain't good for you or for whoever you're with, and it ain't good for the scenario. And it's only your responsibility to check that shit. And I think a lot of us don't really allow ourselves to be honest with ourselves enough to say, I'm not checking my toxicity. And I'm thinking that the healthy part of this relationship is me getting to be toxic and still be loved. And the only person who's going to unconditionally love you is your mother. There should be no expectation for someone else to unconditionally love you in that way.
I hope you enjoyed that video. But I really love what she said there. You know, relationships, to me, we hire people to help us deal with our stuff because it's a reflection, it's a mirror of the things that you need to grow and you need to work on. So as I was thinking about this, I just wanted to share with you as we think about this is just the way I am. Let's get right into it. So let's talk about it. So I think the first way to start attacking this idea of this is just the way I am and start checking our own toxicity is eliminating the shame. Eliminating the shame that comes with certain narratives and certain ideas of who we are. I know there's certain things about myself I have been unwilling to name because of the stories and the narratives that went with it. So for instance, this idea around my ego and emotional management, that what I said to myself is like, oh, I'm just so dramatic. And I think I had heard that from other people too. It's like, oh, you're just so dramatic, da da da. So because I didn't want to be seen to myself as dramatic, then I would not own this quality about myself. And so I just challenge you, like, don't allow the narratives and shame to keep you from facing what's really true about yourself. Because one of the things as we think about number 2 is owning it is, as Dr. Precious says, you can't change what you're unwilling to name. If you can't name it, you can't do anything about it. That's why they always say awareness is the most powerful tool in the universe. Because if I don't know that my jump shot is broke, then I'm gonna keep on shooting it the same way because that's what has worked for me. And oftentimes, I think we were having a conversation about this earlier, is that some things in our life, we can't own it until we're ready to receive and do what we need to do to change it. Like some of the habits we have, they're protective mechanisms. Like, we use them to protect ourselves. So to be like, oh, I gotta change this. For instance, like my ego, for instance, it has been a benefit to me in some ways, because it has helped me get to just about majority of the places I've gotten. It helped me become a basketball player, it helped me become a coach, it helped me get in the NBA. But it doesn't necessarily work when you're trying to relate to somebody. So I think another part of it is looking at the benefits and the challenges that come with those, because it's not all bad because you want to grow in something. Sometimes that can keep us from making the move, but understanding how sometimes it doesn't necessarily work in my favor. So just looking at those benefits and those challenges and just fully embracing and owning that thing. It's not always easy, but it's well worth it in the end. I think the next thing, this is what changed the game for me, y'all. Like this right here, and I think she said it in the video, is understanding the impact it has on you, the person, and the scenario. Because as I said before, a lot of things, a lot of qualities we have, they can impact other people. So, for instance, I think about, yeah, I'm messy. Like, I ain't Molly Maid around here. But the impact, when I look at Christina and she is tired, almost like broke down from trying to clean up my mess and her mess, I have to make some changes there. Or we can say, well, this is just how I talk. And you have to say, I'm just honest. We could say that, right? Like, some feedback I got recently was like, you could be kind of rude. And I've heard that from Christina too. You could be rude. Sometimes when I have something to do, like, listen, I don't care about nobody's feelings out here. But what I can say is, this is just how I am. If the way that I communicate, my significant other cannot hear me, I gotta check my toxicity on that because of the impact. Yeah, this is how I am. This is just how I talk. You can't tell me how I want to talk. But it affects, they can't hear me. And we don't get past things because of how I communicate. Gotta make some changes there. Or I could say, well, shoot, I got ADHD, so I have a hard time listening. But a part doesn't feel seen when I don't listen. So I've got to address that. And that's what I'm realizing. When you understand the impact on yourself and other people, because when I let people down on some of these things, like, I feel shame. I don't feel great knowing that I'm not a good listener. That doesn't feel good to me. To know that, I want to know that I want to feel seen. I want other people to see me. I need to take time to understand and see other people. So just keeping that in mind, right? Like, how does this affect other people? Like, something she said in the video is, no one has to accept us exactly as we are. They don't. They don't have to. If it's not good for the scenario, it's not good for the situation. We have to make some adjustments there. And the next one is, what am I going to do about it? Now, for me, I am slowing down, taking a breath. And I have this other thing, the trigger chain. It helps me process through my triggers. So whenever I get triggered, I go to my little notebook and I type in, okay, well, what's my trigger? What do I believe about myself? What do I believe about the other person? How does this impact someone else? So going through those steps, and then what is the new learn? What's the choice I'm gonna make? And then making a choice from there. So it doesn't have to be this massive thing when you start checking your toxicity and saying, oh, well, I might need to work on this. Because oftentimes, honestly, that's why I wouldn't do anything. It was too overwhelming. It was too overwhelming to think that I had to show up differently in a different way. It's like, oh man, it's a lot to fix. There ain't nothing to fix. It's just, what's that one small thing I can start doing to change that? And the last thing I would add is accountability and community. Don't be out here trying to do this by yourself, G. It ain't happening. Get you a therapist, a coach, somebody, a friend to move you to the next level. Because I think something that I'm beginning to see is some things you just need a different perspective, and you need someone to challenge and push your thoughts on and your beliefs on how you see things. Because Because that's why I believe in coaches. That's why I believe in books. That's why I believe in having a therapist and seeking additional resources. Because if you've thought a certain way most of your life, you can keep going with the same story over and over, and it continues to play out in your life. But when you get a different perspective, when you read a book and say, oh, okay, I never thought about it like this, or you talk to somebody who's further along in the path, it changes the way you see about it, and you get the accountability to do something different. That's why, since I've come back from this conference, I'm going all in on doing the work. We get in the gym, we get in therapy, we doing the things we need to do to be who I say I am, and doing my work. But get you help if you need it. Because therapy, I promise, man, it has changed my life. I swear by it. Now, obviously, you have to implement and you have to pick and choose, what works for you and what doesn't. But it's a game changer. It's a game changer. Like, it's been times I've gone into session, I'm like dead set on this what I think. This what I think. And my therapist has challenged me and said, well, let's unpack that. And once I leave that session, I see it completely different. But that's the beauty of getting the help you need and the support, because it helps you see another perspective and holding you accountable to doing what you say you're gonna say, what you want for yourself. So get the help you need. So thank you all so much for tuning in. And I want to close out with this. So as we think about this is just the way I am. Y'all, I've been very transparent and honest about, y'all, I got ADHD. My focus level, it's not always the best. I have to work very hard to be focused. And I was talking to my therapist about it, and I was saying, I'm so ashamed about it. I'm very ashamed because a lot of times you're perceived as lazy, you're perceived as you don't care, you're perceived as you're selfish. And my therapist has ADHD. So she was explaining to me, she said, yeah, like that's how it looks to people. It looks like you just don't, excuse my friend, you don't give a damn. But you have not mental challenges, but like things just, it takes more energy for you to focus and do what you need to do. And she said, well, we can't stop it. I'm just feeling bad about myself and I'm not gonna do anything about it. She said, you just have to work harder. That's all. You just gotta work harder than most people, and that's okay. But let's figure out how we can be intentional and come up with ways to address it, because it does have impact on other people. And it has impact on you. So she helped me come up with some tools to help me be more intentional about managing it better. And like I have a little board on my wall. I call it my brain is on point. I'm speaking my brain's on point, things to help me remember what I need to do. But it's okay if we have challenges. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's also our responsibility to heal and do the work and not say, this is just how I am. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And remember, yes, that might be the way you are today, but be willing to check your toxicity. If it is affecting you and the world around you, do the work to change the things you need to change to be the best version of yourself. If this video added some value, share, subscribe, like, all of that. And as you continue on this journey and you have this new perspective, I want you to keep that rookie state of mind. Well, Fitz, what's that? I want you to remember that the level up is in the losses. Problems are absolutely a privilege. And yes, this might be a new perspective. And yes, you might be new to this, but I know you're true to this because you're right here in this very moment right now. Thank you for tuning in. I love y'all.